Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Mailbox for the 28th of September 2012. My name is TotalBiscuit, bringing you your daily dose of community interaction, gaming discussion, and all that good stuff. You can email in mailbox@cynicalbrit.com, that's mailbox@cynicalbrit.com, with topics for future shows. The game in the background is War of the Roses, alternating between War of the Roses and Chivalry, so that I can eventually do a comparison video on the two of them, and I'm still in two minds as to which one is better. Both have their faults, both have their strengths, we shall see. First email comes in here from Ascari that says, what is your view on the future of video game-related television shows? These kind of shows have never really gained a lot of popularity, at least here in Finland. As every once in a while, one pops up, runs for a few months, and then gets sacked. All of these shows have been about reviews, upcoming games, and such information most gamers find online effortlessly. How do you think this kind of format should improve so that they could compete with the internet, or do you feel that not even a show hosted by Samuel L. Jackson is going to cut it? Well, I think the most important thing you just said was on the subject of information that can be found online. How on earth do you present anything relevant on television? When it comes to gaming, gaming moves pretty damn quickly, incredibly fast. And you have a lot of production values that you have to think about when dealing with TV. If you want to stay relevant, you've got to do it live, which also limits some of the things that you can actually do with a gaming-related show. It also means you've got to prepare all of the review content way in advance and all sorts of things like that. And even if you pull all of that off, even if you manage to stay relevant and stay on top of everything that's happening, you are still screwed because you've then got to attract people to your show versus everything else that's already on the internet or via YouTube. How do you convince somebody to go and watch a gaming TV show when they can get all their information on YouTube or various gaming sites all over the internet and they already have their favorite ones? How do you take views away from any YouTube partner or sites like Rock Paper Shotgun, VG247, and Giant Bomb, sites that have very large followings? How is TV a relevant format at all anymore? The reason that it's currently still a relevant format is, of course, that a certain demographic of people watch it. You want to know who that demographic is not? Gamers. That's not to say that gamers don't watch television programs, of course we do. But we don't tend to sit there watching TV. We'd rather be playing games. Based on some stats from the Nielsen company, across the board, age demographics for TV watching are highest the older you get. There's a big dip around 12 to 17, which is a very big demographic for video games, and age 18 to 24 is one of the lowest television watching age demographics. Now, the older you get, the more you have a tendency to watch. Now, just bear in mind, this is across the board. We're not even talking about gamers here. If you look at gamer demographics, it gets even worse. I would say that in general, gamers tend to select the stuff that they want to watch, and they will watch it in on-demand fashion. They will not sit down at a specific time to watch something at a scheduled time. No, they want it on demand, so they'll find it online, either legally or illegally. They're also going to be very picky with the shows they actually watch. Channel surfing is not so popular as it was anymore, especially amongst gamers. They know what they want, they tend to research their product, and as a result, they only watch the shows that they like. Convincing people like that to watch a television-based show is just outlandish. It doesn't make any sense. Why would anyone sit down to watch a show about video games on a television? I can game while watching game content. I can watch it on my monitor. I can find infinite amounts of game content on YouTube, and I will get up-to-the-minute information from either YouTube sources or, of course, from websites and Twitter feeds all over the world. You could put the same content that's on YouTube in a television program, and it wouldn't serve any practical purpose. And there are people that just want to spend time watching hours and hours of one specific thing. YouTube is king when it comes to that kind of material. Why do you think Let's Plays are popular? There are some people that just want to watch 35 to 40 hours of one game. What on earth can a 30-minute television program do for people like that? Absolutely nothing. Every possible demographic, as far as I can see, is catered to better by the internet than television ever could. There is nothing stopping you creating a show that would be interesting to people, but it naturally costs more as a result. So if you're gonna create it, then you wouldn't put it on television. You would put it on the internet. You would make it video on demand, so you actually appeal to the demographic in question. As far as I'm concerned, video gaming on TV has absolutely no hope whatsoever. At least not general coverage, reviews, and things like that. Esports might, but even then, I view television as very much a dying medium. TV manufacturers also realize this, which is why we're getting smart TVs that have access to all of this on-demand content. My television has a Netflix app on it, and my TV isn't even that modern. More modern televisions are getting more and more access to internet-based content. They know what's up. They can smell what is happening. What's going to end up happening is that traditional television models will eventually, it's going to take a while, but they will eventually disappear, and programs will be made based on demographics and how much they can actually make via a online viewing VOD-based system. We'll see how that turns out, but I'm looking forward to it because, quite frankly, television is a dinosaur, and it has never, ever catered to me as a gamer, so why on earth would I want to pay attention to television? This one comes in from Paul. It says, in a recent Borderlands 2 video, oh god, you said that its co-op multiplayer is bad because there are no features like class synergy to make it interesting. I didn't say it was bad. I just said it wasn't very good. While I also find Borderlands 2 co-op not interesting, I, for example, very much liked Serious Sam 3 co-op, even though it's not much different from single player. My questions are, is Serious Sam 3 co-op considered better than Borderlands 2 just because of 16 people on the server at once? And what features, in your opinion, can make the co-op experience exciting? No, not by the same logic that I applied to Borderlands 2. By that logic, Serious Sam 3 co-op is even worse. There's even less synergy in that, and there's even less organization in that. It is a disorganized, chaotic mess, but that is only if you look at it from a strictly mechanical point of view. What other ways are there to look at a game? Think about it. A chaotic mess. Explosions all over the screen. Crazy numbers of enemies. No synergy whatsoever. It's just 16 copies of you in a different skin using the same weapons. No loot. No real meaningful objectives. It's get from point A to point B and occasionally unlock a door. It's not really all that tricky. The co-op part of it is almost non-existent. There's very little cooperation involved in it. You all happen to be shooting the same monsters for points, and that is about it. You really don't help each other out all that much. When you die in that game, it's not a case of having someone run over to revive you, like in Gears of War or whatever, and that's the famous bro slap to stop people bleeding. Yes, God, I love that one. You can't help people over obstacles. You can't do the kind of stuff that you can do in Army of Two, for instance, where one person's able to take aggro and the other people flank around the side. It doesn't work that way. So if you look at it from that mechanical perspective, it's bad. It's terrible. But that's not what a lot of people think about Serious Sam 3 co-op. They like it. They think it's great. Serious Sam's been known as a co-op game for the longest time. So why is it good? It's not really a case of mechanics, and when you have 16 players on, it's rarely even a case of communication and hanging out with your friends, unless you have a hell of a lot of friends and a nice big LAN party or vent server or whatever. More often than not, you just jump onto a server, play 16-player co-op with people you've never met before. You may holler over voice chat, you may not. But more often than not, you are never going to see those guys again. So, what's attractive about it? Well, it is the chaos. It is the scale. You don't get that kind of scale in a lot of games. Serious Sam 3 co-op is ridiculous. It's nuts. It's completely out there. And there is some appeal as a result of the sheer number of enemies on the screen at once. All of the Serious Sam games have had a lot of enemies on the screen at once. More than most FPS, without question. And that, for some people, is fun. You can get some really cool experiences. There's actually one level, I think it was in the original Serious Sam, or may have been Second Encounter, I can't remember which, one way or the other. You were in this giant desert area, and you get on top of this pyramid, and then enemies are coming from all sides, and it's insane. It's like the pyramid scene from the Alien vs. Predator movie, which is probably the only good scene from the entire sodding movie. There is something to be said for spectacle. It is the same thing that makes single-player Call of Duty games appealing to some people. It's not that these games are mechanically interesting in any real respect. The level design is flat out dull. It might as well be a corridor. And it essentially is. There's no exploration involved. There's very few tactics involved. Not a lot of strategy involved whatsoever. Weapon variety is poor, to say the least. In general, you could consider Call of Duty single-player to be bad, and many people do. But yet, still, there are many people that play it and enjoy it. Why is that? Because spectacle. That game usually knocks it out of the park when it comes to Hollywood-style special effects, scripting, timing, and things like that. Some would even argue that it's a very well-paced game. I personally don't think so, because I find pacing to be interrupted by consistent cutscenes, hand-holding, and blocking of your progress by artificial means. There are people that this kind of thing appeals to. Serious Sam 3 has an edge over the majority of games because of that kind of scale. Some gamers are looking for the massive, chaotic experience, and that is what they get from all of the Serious Sam games in co-op. And that is where the strength actually lies. That game is not designed around co-op. It really isn't. There aren't many features or mechanics within the game that make it work. It's not like Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead was designed with co-op in mind from the very start. Serious Sam was not. And yet Serious Sam co-op remains popular. So, the answer to your question is, some people do consider Serious Sam 3 co-op to be better than Borderlands 2. On a mechanical level, I don't consider it better. But as a spectacle, well, that's a different matter entirely. And this should hopefully be a lesson to some people. There are many, many ways of looking at a problem. There are many ways of analyzing a product, and many ways of coming to a conclusion as to whether or not it's actually any good. Far too many people take a very simplistic view. This email comes in from Stevo Isaac, or Stevorosiek, I don't even know. Steve, you are now Steve. Question is this. Today, Activision released Call of Duty Black Ops for Macintosh. However, the Mac version is separate from the Windows version. If you own Black Ops on Windows, you need to buy a separate copy for Mac. In addition, the two versions don't have cross-platform multiplayer. This leaves me with 3 questions. Why sell the two versions separately? Why segregate the multiplayer? And why port Black Ops rather than the newer Modern Warfare 3? Well, consider yourself lucky that you didn't get Modern Warfare 3, because it's bad. It's actually worse than Black Ops. Black Ops is a better game. Anyway, Activision's having a laugh with this release, or if I was going to go full British, they're having a laugh, aren't they? Yes, they are in fact having a laugh. There is one thing to consider before we go on. We've been using the word Activision quite a bit. We should also mention that this is an Aspyr port. Now, Aspyr are a company that ports PC games and console games to Mac, assuming they have the rights to do so. They are notorious for being expensive. So, honestly, you've got Aspyr and most likely Activision laughing all the way to the bank. And because I can't be asked to say Aspyr and Activision every single time, I'm just going to refer to it as Activision from here on in. What's up with it? Well, come on, they're charging $50 for this thing. $50. Not only that, but Black Ops 2 comes out next month. Next month! So this game's not only out of date, it's gonna be mega out of date very soon. I just want to point out, by the way, the Mac version is currently $10 more expensive than the PC version, which is already too expensive because, again, it's a 2-year-old game, and the price still remains very high. The DLC is also at the same price. Enjoy map packs for $15. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, by all means. Oh, you want to know what's funnier? Oh yes, I can tell you. Right now, as I record this, Modern Warfare 3 is 50% off, down to $30. Enjoy paying $20 more for a game that is a year older. What? Oh, wow, if this was Madden or FIFA, then there's no way in a million years anyone would actually pay for an out-of-date game like that, and considering that Activision's been on this release one every year kind of thing, it's easy to make that kind of comparison. Although I should also point out that Battlefield has also released one game a year since its inception. No, really, that's actually true. Some people don't realize that. Since 2002 and the release of Battlefield 1942, there has been at least one new Battlefield game or expansion every single year. More often than not, both. Call of Duty are hardly the only FPS franchise to milk themselves to death. It's simple greed, it really is. It's not like Steam doesn't offer a way to make this happen. The whole Steam Play system allows you to release both Mac and PC versions at the same price and allow you to download both if you want to. But why would Activision want to? What benefit would it be? It's not like anyone's actually going to buy Black Ops anymore. Come on, really? So, what benefit is it to do this so far after release? No, this is an opportunity for Activision to make some more money off an old game. And they are going to do so by releasing it on Mac. They're not going to allow cross-compatibility because I have no idea. Maybe they're just lazy. Maybe it's just simply not possible. I don't see why it wouldn't be, but I'm just going to attribute it to laziness, because if you're going to release a game that old for that price, then yeah, you're pretty lazy and you're pretty money-grubbing. There's no real question about that. Now, I have a bit of a pipe dream. And this is something that I would love to see, but is not going to happen, but thankfully has at least started to occur in between PC and Mac with the Steam Play system. What I would like to see is when you purchase one version of a game, you get access to all of the others. I would like to be able to buy a game on console and also get the PC version, and not have to pay for both. At the end of the day, it is the same game, right? But, of course, that isn't going to happen. Maybe further down the road when discs don't exist anymore, so you can't get a 2-disc copy of this thing and say, hey, I'm going to sell a copy of this to my friend for whatever money and then make money at the expense of other people. Maybe when physical copies don't exist anymore, maybe this could happen. But at the end of the day, why would they? Why would they? Of course they want to make more money that way. Unless that functionality happens to be a selling point for another one of your systems, like, say, the Remote Play and the buy it on PS3 and get the Vita version for free system that Sony are doing on certain titles. Again, it is a pipe dream. I don't really expect it to happen. It would just be nice. In this case, this is one of the most blatant examples in recent memory of exploiting Mac gamers. Joke's on them, though, because Mac gamers don't actually exist. Har, har, har. Alright, folks, that is me done for the day. Thank you very much for watching the Mailbox. That is also me done for the week. I will see you once again with Mailbox on the Monday. Email in mailbox@cynicalbrits.com with topics for future shows. Have a great and fantastic weekend. Please don't get killed or anything. I quite like you watching my videos. I'll see you next time.